Good morning, guys. Just hanging out in front of the Christmas tree, wrapped up in my little blanket. Eleanor is hanging out by the little collection of cat figurines, and I am about to have some oatmeal for breakfast in my little Temptations cup here. Look at my little baby Eleanor. She is napping comfortably on my little blanket in my favorite chair. I'm gonna go to the post office, honey. You'll miss me? No? Okay. Can you hear my neighbor's yappy dog? That dog makes so much noise. Hi, Buddy. Buddy's hanging out in their bedroom, which is where the litter boxes are, but there's also some cat trees up here that look out over a very busy road so they can see some traffic and just enjoy a more dynamic view than they get downstairs. So this is one of his favorite spots to be. All right, I go to the post office. I'll miss you. I'll miss you. Handsome boy. Isn't he handsome? Hey, look at your friends. Oh, he is so handsome. Look at that. Look at that profile. He's so good looking. The elf on the shelf chose a more traditional location today. Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 15. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. This late afternoon sun has forced me to put on some sunglasses that I just found recently. I've had them forever and ever and ever. They are a pair of super vintage, probably from the mid-'80s. I'm guessing Wayfarer frames with this like fake mother of pearl. Can you see? Let's see if you can see in the sun. They're really, really neat. They're hideous, but I love them. If the prescription inside's probably 10 years old, I can see perfectly for driving. It's probably not as crisp as I would like, but it's great for driving. Blah, 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 my sunglasses. So yeah, I did not want to leave the house today. It took everything I had to get myself to put clothes on and leave the house. I was having such a nice day. Yesterday was very long. I had a very long four-leg day. Came home, went to bed fairly early. Woke up this morning about 6, gave the cats their treats. Eleanor will creep up next to my head on my left and go. She makes these little old lady clearing her throat noises, which is, good morning, I want my treats. So I gave them their treats this morning, then turned around, went right back to bed, waking up about 10:30 in the afternoon. It was luscious to sleep that long. It was so nice. No melatonin, no sleep aids, just natural exhaustion. Woke up, had some oatmeal for breakfast, which was not exciting enough to film. Or did I film that? I think I did. I think I may have filmed a little teeny clip of my oatmeal this morning. Just hung out listening to NPR. I picked up Eleanor, sat in one of my favorite chairs under my new little throw blanket, and I got Eleanor. She sat on my belly and fell asleep. And I was just there for another hour just listening to NPR with Eleanor snoring on my belly. It was absolutely luxurious. But I did have to leave the house. I had some eBay sales over the past couple of days. I had 3 different neckties sell. I'm not sure if I ever told you my theory about neckties. Lots of guys with a fair amount of money and some good taste moved to Las Vegas with their neckties because it's impossible to throw away a good necktie. And they die here in Las Vegas and they leave their neckties at Goodwill. So I find them and I sell them. So today I sold 2 vintage Oleg Cassini ties, probably from the they're probably from the early 70s, and seeing how wide they were. And then I sold a brand new, tags on it, Cardinals, I think it's a baseball team, necktie. Those all sold for probably $50 total for the 3 of them. And then I sold 2 wine glasses, Rydell. It's a very, very fancy wine glass pair of them from Germany. I sold 2 of those for $60, I think. And then I sold 2 Waterford China dinner plates for $90 for the 2 of them. So it was a fairly good day for eBay, so I had to pack those up, and packing eBay sales is the thing I dread. But you know what? I made a good money off. I probably spent a total of, I don't know, $30, and I sold all that stuff. So yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. So I'm speeding off to the post office to drop those off there. I do need to grab a bite to eat. I literally have been so lazy, I haven't washed dishes. That's my excuse for leaving the house to get something to eat. Yeah, I'm lazy. And I have no idea what else is going to happen this afternoon because nothing is really going on and I have no plans. That probably means I'm going to Goodwill at some point. So, sorry, those of you who hate Goodwill hauls will probably be disappointed with this next video because I'm probably going to Goodwill and doing a little shopping. So, let me go to the post office and I'll see you later. I am done at the post office. So I'm listening to this little podcast right now that just shook me a little bit. Now, this isn't the topic of the podcast, but it leads to the topic. You know how I talk about things. Well, let me start with gratitude. Even just happiness is not my native language. It's not just where I go first. That's just not who I am. That's not how I'm built. I try to curate gratitude and happiness and joy in my life, but it doesn't happen spontaneously to me. I don't know who it does. Like, whoever's spontaneously grateful and happy all the time, it is not me. I don't understand those people, but I'm trying. And it's an active, conscious thing I have to do frequently. Compassion and empathy are things that I have been working on for a little bit longer, and those become a little bit more natural for me, and I am very, very grateful for that. See, I'm practicing gratitude because I complain all the time. But I've been trying to practice gratitude and, empathy and compassion and happiness and finding joy where I can, leading up to this podcast. It's this guy. He's doing something simple as talking about how to wrap presents, and he starts talking about regular wrapping paper that you can buy in a big roll, the tall, long tubes that you buy at the store. And he's going on about how it's absolute crap and how he detests it. It's like just above like feces in his mind. He didn't say that, but that's the point he was trying to make, and how much he disliked those commercially created papers and ribbons and bows and all that stuff. And to a degree, I agree. But I was just so struck by his absolute distaste and the hatred that came out of his mouth for something as simple as wrapping paper. And then it happened. I recognized that tone because it has come out of my own mouth. There are things that I detest. Sometimes it's something like philosophical, like someone's political beliefs. Sometimes I react spontaneously to those things, as some of you know. But there are things I find distasteful, cheap, tacky, things that, I recognize and know because they were a part of my life for a long time. But I've spent so long trying to get above where I was, above my station in life, so to speak. But I have found so many things just distasteful. Certain fabrics, things like wrapping paper, and other things. And you've heard me be judgmental about things in the past, because I've heard myself say it, and I still say it. I don't know how it slips out of my mouth, but you've heard me be super judgmental. I know you have, because some of you have commented on it. And I'm listening to this podcast and hearing him be so snotty, truly snotty about something as simple as wrapping paper. It's innocent. Sometimes that paper isn't bad, you know? And I thought, wow, this is something I have to work on. It's my, not just gratitude and happiness and finding joy and compassion, but also to accept other things and other tastes and whatever, as easily as I've come to accept other people for being who they are, or I'm trying. Am I making any sense at all? I was just so kind of shaken by the snottiness, the tone, just the entitlement. And I'm so fancy, I don't use plastic in my home. He was saying that. I was like, oh, good for you. And then I recognized, man, I know that I have sounded just as snotty and as elitist about some things in the past. And it's kind of just shook me a little bit, just driving here, listening to that podcast. So I got some work to do on making myself the person I want to be one day. And that has to be a little bit more accepting of other people's tastes and styles, right? All right, so I just arrived at Goodwill. How's that for just a random off the top of my head thought? That's what being in my head is like all the time. It's horrible. All right, so I will see you inside Goodwill.
I actually like this. It's like cross stitch. It's a little rose with some flowers back there, but I don't like it that much, and it's huge. This I actually like. It's like Bottled Fruits by Peggy Chun. It's signed. These are some salt and pepper shakers that are $4.99 for the pair. They have their rubber little stoppers. They look, and I got these two pieces too, they look like Bauer pottery, but I don't see the marking for it. So I have to do some Googling. They don't look that old though, so I'm not quite sure. But, and I only wonder about Bauer because, well, if something I'll show you when I get to the house that is Bauer pottery that I found. But I'm going to do a little research on these pieces. I almost bought this because I have a whole collection of them, but they want $4. No. This is kind of cute. It's like a candle holder with a wreath in the front. I don't think so. Section of vases and things is where I frequently find things that people don't recognize. Sometimes you have to look into the bottom of pieces that have like floral arrangements in them. This is a cute little candle holder by Heather or something or other. I have a holiday piece by her that's really cute. I like this. Oh, wing is broken. It's cute otherwise. This is a Jonathan Adler baboon porcelain wine stopper. How weird is this? But they want $6 for it. And on WorthPoint, it looks like someone in 2013 bought it for $15, so I think I'm gonna pass.
All right, I don't know why I chose to do this during rush hour, but I'm going to a number of Goodwills, and of course during rush hour. I'm literally on the highway at a standstill. I was just at the Tropicana Goodwill, and I showed you a couple of things I thought were interesting or that I almost bought. The pieces I love that I got that I am super excited about. Oh my God. Some amazing pieces of pottery for the most part. I am going to hold on and show you those when I get home because I'm just so excited. And I want to take a moment or two to talk about the pieces and why I got them. But one of the things I did buy that you already saw was the framed piece of artwork of the bottles, those orange bottles in the leaves, the branches. It was $14.99. I don't know quite where I'll put it. I definitely want it, and I want it in my house where I'm going to see it every day. Partly because I love the composition, and I think there's probably a story behind those bottles hanging in the trees. But most importantly is the story of the artist. I did a quick Google search on her, Peggy Chun. She was a Hawaiian woman. Well, she was white, but she lived in Hawaii, I guess. She was not of the indigenous people of Hawaii. But she died in 2008 after struggling with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, for 6 years. And her story of creation is that she was a painter, very accomplished painter. Then when ALS started taking control, or well, she was losing control, I should say, of her physical body, she could not paint with her dominant hand. So she started using her other hand. Okay, there's that. That makes sense. Then, when she couldn't use that hand, she painted using a paintbrush in her teeth. Then, when she could no longer do that, she used a computer program that would track her eye movements, where she could choose shapes and colors and forms and create that way. Then, when that didn't work, and I kind of want to cry because I just can't believe what this woman overcame. Then she used a different program, I guess, where she was able to communicate in some fashion with someone else who would paint and do the work, where she would suggest colors and forms and things like that. And then she passed away in 2008. And I was just so moved. I'm so moved, I can feel it right here, of her story. And I'm like shamed because that I hardly left my bed today because I was just cuddling with the cats. You know, there's so many things I could have done today. Housework, cleaning, doing laundry. There's so many things I could have done today. But I chose to just kind of hang out and luxuriate in my doing nothing. And this woman, Peggy Chun, was such an inspiration to me at the moment. So I want to put that piece where I'm going to see it every day and remember her story. I want to look a little deeper into her story, but that is one of the pieces I bought, and that's one of the reasons I get so excited about thrifting, is you do find these pieces, and many of them have stories that are remarkable. So yeah, that's one thing. Blah, 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 blah. That's one thing that I bought. I am still super excited about some of the pottery pieces I got, but it looks like the traffic is kind of moving a little bit. So rather than keep talking to you, I'm going to talk to you later, probably at that next Goodwill.
What's this? With this, it's metal. That would be super cool in front of my house. I would love that. I'm tempted, but the base inside here is kind of broken. It would wobble a lot during the windstorms we get here, so I'm gonna skip that. But I am sorely tempted. It's iron. It's cast iron. Here's a Tabasco tie. I'll buy that. This is a Paul Frederick tie. Paul Frederick ties sell. This is another Vineyard Vines tie, a holiday tie. And this is another Paul Frederick tie. So I'm gonna look some of those up. This should sell pretty well. Do you remember that thing I bought my friend Reggie? He also collects Capo di Monte. I would buy this, but there's a broken flower and a broken leaf. But it's funny, I never really see it at Goodwill until he tells me he collects it. Now I see it all the time. Oh, loud. There's a pair of these candle holder wall sconces that are kind of cool. They're fairly vintage. They're pretty old. And they're kind of in my style for my house. But I don't know. But they're $6 a piece. I don't know. I'll hold on to this. Champagne shooters. A rapid champagne consumption device. Yeah. Have you ever tried to chug champagne? I have. It's not pleasant. Oh my God. That's why I ended up here at Goodwill. I recognize these plates. These are Majolica ware from the early 80s. I don't think 3 plates, even individuals, would sell, but the cake plate or the candle holders, that would be something to find. The 80s are certainly calling for this picture. Whoever priced it at $35 is being a little ambitious. I think it's selling or being listed for $25 on eBay, but it's really very light, and that would shatter with one. What's that? What's this? Oh, that's speaking to me. Oh, let me see what that is. Look, more Capo di Monte. This one just has a teeny little teeny bit of damage. Teeny little tiny bit. I don't know, it's like $4. Look at this butter dish. It's got a little teak handle. That's cute. $4? I don't know. I found this little blue glass squirrel. I love him, but he's broken pretty badly. Oh. These are beautiful little shorebirds or dessert dishes. I would never need them, and shipping would be a disaster. They would shatter, but they're very pretty. Part of me is attracted to this. It's narcissus blooms being forced in a little bowl, and it's all done in embroidery. Isn't it pretty? But I would have to take it out of this frame and do something with it, and I'm probably not going to do that. This is interesting. This is by Winfield Pottery, if I'm not mistaken. It is. It's also $8. I would probably not be able to get more than $20 or $25 on eBay. And there's 2 matching bowls with a chip. And they went $10, so it's a no on the Winfield. You even have to look at things like this, which might strike you as being boring. Wait till you see one of the pieces I got earlier today. It kind of resembles this in a way, but this isn't really fancy. But the other piece I show you, definitely collectible. There's a ton of these little banks, little fortune cats. And they list on eBay fairly well, and some of them sell, but there's just something about them that kind of creeps me out. So as much as I'm tempted, if $8, I'd probably make a good $10, $15 profit, but something's kind of freaking me out. And if they were so desirable, I don't know if there'd be a shelf of them.
Oh, my nose is very itchy. That means I'm going to get in a fight or kiss a fool. The odds of me kissing a fool are pretty slim, unless it's Buddy who's making lots of noise over here. Do you want to say hi to your friends? Come here. Rah, 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 rah. Oh, I'll kiss you. I'll kiss you now. Oh, hey. Wow. Hi. Want to say hi? Look how beautiful he is. Look, I just kissed a fool. So I'm not going to get in a fight unless it's with you. So, hey, how are you? So I have been home long enough to give the cats their treats. Give Eleanor some white tissue paper. She loves to wrangle pieces of white tissue paper. And I've had time to touch up a piece of pottery that I know I'm teasing you right now with what I'm showing you. There's a little chip on it, and I wanted to just fill that in with my Sharpie. This is a piece I'm going to go to my grave with. I love this piece. I'll show it to you in a moment. But let's see. So I went to 2 different Goodwills tonight. One on Tropicana and one on, where did I go? Oh, Nellis. I went out to Nellis. The drive there was a mistake. But the minute I walked in there, grabbed a cart, and I saw what was on the shelves, all of my regrets dissipated immediately, like, poof, gone. So I bought a pile of pottery. I am beyond excited. Some of these pieces are for me and a collection that I'm growing. The others I'll be listing on eBay, but yeah, I am beyond excited. So the first thing I'll show you is this. Now, you're going to think it's hideous. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. Oh, what, buddy? Do you hear him? He's not getting attention. Look at that vase. Look at the side. You can see how big it is. My head is right there. Look at that. It's a little dusty. I have to clean it. There was a chip right there. You can see it right there. But all you have to do is just turn it a little bit, and that goes away. I feel this was, I think I feel throwing rings on the inside of this and how it was attached here. I think this might be handmade. I'm not quite sure. But the sphere is so perfect. It might be slip cast. I'm not sure, but it's very heavy. It was marked at $13.99. I got it half price. Thank you, Green Ticket. Yeah, I friggin' love this. It's so cool. Now, next to it, most of these things were on just a couple shelves. I don't know really how I got so lucky, unless they were trying to restock for tomorrow. But look at this one. Now, this is going to go perfectly next to this. Obviously made by the same person. Look at this. It looks like a sea egg or a seabird egg with this speckle. And it's got these like little nipple things on the side, 3 legs. I know it's hideous, but it's also fabulous, right? Fabulous. I friggin' love these. So these are going to go in my grave with me. They are so cool. I've subscribed to a new YouTube channel called HGTV Handmade or Homemade. And it was an hour-long video of 7 different artists and tours of their homes in the maximalist style. Now, I had never really heard of maximalist. I'd heard of minimalist, and I figured out real quick what maximalist means. And I always wanted, when I got my house, I wanted a minimalist style. You can see that's not happening. That's not my native language. I taught chaos. That's my native tongue. So I've been given like permission to really decorate how I want to. I'm just going to kind of go a little overboard. Once I kind of get things in the right direction, I'll show you more of what my place really looks like. Right now, it's just covered in crap from Goodwill. But, so this is another piece of pottery that I love. I've given it a little bit of a wash because I can feel somebody else's household on it. It's a little grimy, but I have to give it another wash. But it is another piece of pottery that I have fallen in love with. The glaze is almost an ox blood, and that's a remnants of a sticker here. I tried getting off. And there's little speckles. Can you see the blue speckles inside? Again, it looks like some sort of wild seabird's egg. I have, and you can see it's a piece of stoneware here. I'm a potter, as you know, and I know exactly how they made this. You can almost see it. Can you see kind of a place here where these 2 hemispheres meet? So they threw 2 pieces, like 2 bowls, and then they joined them, and then they, threw a little top. But I think that is remarkable. This is a piece of pottery that I bought a few months ago. You've already seen this. It's one of my favorite things I've ever found at Goodwill. But that pot, see this pot? Now, I bought this months ago. Now, can you just picture these 2 pieces styled together in a grouping with other pieces that I have? I'm so excited. I love handmade pottery. Speaking of handmade pottery, look at this. My nose. Hand thrown. You can see the throwing rings on the surface here. They probably could have done more to get those throwing rings off, but maybe they meant to leave them on purpose. I don't know. But it is, it's signed, handmade, $8. Thank you very much. I love this. And when I display it, however I display it, whenever I do, I'm going to show that part as the forward because this section isn't that exciting. But I think that is really fantastic for $8 freaking dollars. Thank you so much. I am in love with that. All right, so my nose. This is the next pot, and then I'll show you some pottery / china that I found that I'm so excited about. This piece. Now, this just looks like 1984 in a piece of pottery. There you go. You can see how big it is. It was $12.99, so I did spend more than I normally do at Goodwill. But it is that a sticker? Oh, good. It is sort of a mauve. It's a true mauve. It's not purpley at all, but it's not pink or rose. It's a true mauve, true 80s color. It's a relatively large, you can see by the size of it and my body, it's a relatively large piece. It was a floral display. When I was in the store, there was a whole mass of grotesque, cheap, gross synthetic flowers. Do you remember just a few minutes ago in your time where I was just telling you I was going to be more generous and less snobbish? Yeah, well, I guess that does not apply to fake foliage. But I thought it was so cool, and I knew it immediately to be something interesting. And I was right. It has a Hager sticker on the bottom. Hager being a pottery company, obviously, that was very, very successful and is very collectible. this piece, to go even further in terms of collectability, I'm probably going to try and list this on eBay, although shipping is going to be a beast. But to further add interest to this, it was a sample sent to Gimbel's. Can you see that right there? The department store, I think Miracle on 34th Street. Sound familiar? It was a sample to the Gimbel's department store, I guess, whether or not they wanted to sell these things. So it was Department 175, season, I don't know what that says, class, price, $40. Whenever this was made and sent to Gimbel's, they were suggesting it be $40. And it's got some dried up bits of floral foam in there, but I think it's fantastic. I might keep it for myself. I don't know what I put in there, but I might just keep it. It's just so fabulous. In terms of proportion, you can kind of see it is a very large piece. Oh, I'm so excited. Hager is super collectible. And, you know, the 80s are back over and over and over and over again. So I got 2 different teapots. I found all of this tonight. Insane. And I'm so glad. It was easy to buy these things because I was excited, number one, but also because I had sold so much on eBay. I didn't feel guilty, you know, buying these things, because if I sell these things, I'm going to just make up for all the money I spent tonight. This is, have you ever heard of Dansk? It's a Danish design. I think technically it's an American company who hired Danish designers to help design their pieces, but it's a teapot, and it was, well, you can't see, it was marked $8. Green ticket, half price. Thank you very much. It's by Dansk, and it is a relatively fantastic teapot. How cool is that? Fantastic condition. I don't know it's ever been used. Eleanor's playing with her paper. So that is a ridiculously cool teapot. This could be a coffee pot, I guess, or a chocolate pot as well, but it is technically a teapot. It's amazeballs. I'm definitely going to list this on eBay. It's not my personal style, but Dansk is very collectible. Now, speaking of collectible, this is a company. First off, I found these. I found the sugar and creamer. And the creamer has its lid. Great shape. I kind of recognize the finish. I'm not sure if you can see the finish here. This is kind of a light tan with a little bit of a speckle running through it. I sort of recognized this piece from an eBay sale that I had seen online. And I found the sugar and creamer together, and I thought, you know, most people honestly only get like $25, $30 for a sugar and creamer set. So no big whoop. This was $2. This was $3.99. It was $4. On the bottom of this one, when I looked, can you read that? It says Bauer. Now, I got very excited when I saw Bauer. Bauer pottery started in 1880s, 1890s in Kentucky. Podunk, something like that, Kentucky, I think. And then it moved to California because California pottery was becoming very, very popular, and they wanted to make some money, so they moved their place out to California. I love Bauer pottery. I've never found any in the wild, so to speak. So when I saw Bauer on the bottom, I got wicked excited. Then I just kind of turned my eye, as I do, I scan the shelves, to what to my wondering eye appear? The matching teapot. It's a matching Bauer teapot in the same glaze, same finish. It's very typical not to have Bauer on there. I was just lucky enough to see Bauer on this piece. But I found the matching teapot in perfect condition. No chips, no cracks. Now, this isn't priceless. Online, I could probably get $40, $45 for this. But I paid, what did I say I paid? Like, I don't know, $8? Something like that, if not less. So I am super excited. No chips, no cracks. There's always a chip right there. And this is in flawless condition. So I have the whole set. I have the whole set. It would have been nice to find a coffee, a teacup and saucer or something. But I did find a teacup and saucer and a sugar in the green of this pattern, also by Bauer, that I imagined. But in doing a little research, no one really pays a lot of money for one sugar bowl without the creamer. And that one teacup and saucer wasn't going to bring me a lot of money. So I didn't buy those things. But I did see these. How wild. And they're huge. This is my fist. You can see the size of this salt and pepper. It's a salt and pepper shaker with their stoppers. The stoppers, the rubber is kind of getting a little old because the only place I saw these was on Etsy, and they had a similar pair from the 40s, in a salt and pepper shaker, and I just thought they were so crazy. You can see it's like a speckled light green right there. The salt shaker has a fair amount of crazing in the glaze. The pepper does not have any crazing that I could see. But crazing on the outside of a salt and pepper shaker isn't like a kiss of death. If it were a plate or a bowl or something, that might be a bit of a problem. But these are in really neat condition. And there are so few of them in this shape, in this pattern, that I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to resell these. I don't think I'll make a lot of money because, I mean, I wouldn't expect more than $20. $25, but I paid $4.99 for the pair, and they'd be so easy to ship. I'm not going to be totally heartbroken. I will be a little heartbroken, or I am, because I only have one more thing to show you. Yay. I was so excited about this piece. It is a baker, like for a chicken or something. It is by I believe it's a company called Earthstone, but you can see this burlap texture almost. So this was a slab of clay that was pressed in a machine between two pieces of canvas. And then that slab was draped over a mold to give them the shape. And then they folded these pieces of clay to create a handle and a rim around the baker, and I loved the glaze. I loved this piece. But listen to this. Do you hear that? Listen. Do you hear that? Oh, that is the sound of a crack. Ta-da! So a piece like this, as solid as it is, as a slab, it should have made a lighter noise, like not a ringing noise because of the material, but it should have made a lighter noise instead of this like thud. So there's a crack in here, and it's a pretty substantial one. I was able to feel it with my fingernail. I wish I had done this in the store, then I wouldn't have purchased it. It wasn't more than $5, but still, I was so in love with the glaze. Look how pretty that is. But that's my one disappointment. So I'll toss this. I don't think there's anything I can do with it with a crack in it. There's nothing I can display in this. So it'll go in the trash. But I found treasure tonight. All in 2 stores on probably a matter of 4 shelves. So I am over the moon excited. I am going to list the Bauer pieces probably as a grouping. Probably. Maybe no, I'll split up the teapot and the cream and sugar because it will be easier to ship that way. And I'm going to list the salt and pepper shakers. And what else am I going to list? Oh, I'm going to list the Dansk teapot. I'm going to list. And I'm thinking about listing this. But I'm also thinking of keeping it, especially after watching that series of maximalist videos where I could just decorate and put something in here. But I'll think about it. I'll think about it. It wouldn't be that difficult to ship. But that just makes it so collectible, especially that gimbal sticker, I think. The other pieces I'll just keep for myself. But, boy, what a day. What a day. I have felt so, oh, and the last piece, I'm sorry. I'm sure you saw this in the store, but I wanted to show you a little bit up close. This is that piece. The framing isn't so gorgeous. It's not the best framed piece. This was framed in, Kenner, Louisiana. Do you know where that is? It's where one of my layover hotel is in New Orleans. I've actually spent time in Kenner, of all places, that this was framed. But this is the piece that I got from Peggy Chun. It is an AP. It's called art. It's an artist proof, and it's these orange bottles, and they almost have like an orange fruit texture stippling to the finish of them. So I'm not sure if that's what the intent was, but I just thought it was fantastic. She is known for her watercolors, many of them whimsical, and some of them, like this, are kind of adding a little fantasy element to a very traditional watercolor. But I'm super excited about it. It was $12.99. So I'm going to put this piece in my hallway, I think, where I come out of my bedroom, so I can see this every morning and hopefully remember her story and how she fought to continue making things that she loved, even though her body was failing because of this horrible disease. So I'm going to try and put this in a position where I'll see it every day that I'm home. Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a little bit of a weird video, but you know, there's few things I love more than a Goodwill haul. And today I just had some good introspective thoughts, and it was a nice day. Now I'm going to get a bite to eat, and then I think we're going to go to bed a little early so I can once again try and get used to an early bedtime, because my shows this week are all very early. Blah, blah, blah. I never stop talking. Let me talk to you guys tomorrow. I will see you later. Fly safe. Bye. Yes, buddy. If you're still watching, do you remember I told you earlier that podcast, the guy was talking about wrapping paper and how disgusting it was and how vile it was? Well, I found wrapping paper at the store tonight, and I thought it was a hoot. I'm sorry I forgot to show it to you earlier, but it's a roll of wrapping paper with Justin Bieber all over it. Back when he was like young and innocent and sweet. Now look, now look at him. But it's a roll of Justin Bieber Christmas wrapping paper. Can you believe it? I'm never going to open it. I will definitely see if I can list this. I don't know how I would ship it. But somebody out there in the world is going to want a roll of Justin Bieber wrapping paper. Look at his pensive little pretty face on the label there. How funny is that? All right. So I promise that's the last thing I'll show you tonight. I'll talk to you later. Bye.